After 2 years of waiting, the second season of The Last of Us has finally premiered. It's not only one of the highest-rated zombie shows of all time but also a monumental achievement in the genre of video game adaptations. This season introduces new types of infected, promising to immerse viewers in an exhilarating post-apocalyptic world. Without further ado, let's dive into the main content. At the end of Season 1, after Joel smuggled Ellie out of the Firefly's lab, he took her to live with his brother in a refugee camp. 5 years have passed, and as more refugees joined, the camp has grown into a small town. The town's sturdy walls keep the infected at bay, reinforced by armed patrols. Every day, they venture out to clear potential threats. The townsfolk live in relative peace. The little girl from back then has grown into a young woman, with combat skills rivaling those of a grown man. Under Tommy's training, her marksmanship has become formidable. Tired of guarding the town gate and eager to join the patrols to clear infected, Ellie makes her request. Remembering Joel's instructions, Tommy firmly denies it. Feeling underestimated and asserting her maturity, Ellie claims she's unafraid of being bitten by the infected. Tommy hurriedly silences her. Her rare immunity must remain a secret. Ellie seizes this leverage, threatening to make a scene unless Tommy relents. Ultimately, Ellie gets her wish and joins the patrol team, accompanied by her close friend Dina. Before setting out, the security chief confirms the patrol route and emphasizes that everyone must strictly follow the team leader's commands. A group of 5 leaves the town gate, marking Ellie's first patrol. The road is blanketed in icy snow. Scanning the surroundings through binoculars, this path has been traversed countless times by previous patrols, leaving no doubt about its safety. Ellie's mood is light. Suddenly, the team leader halts. A trail of fresh blood stretches ahead. By protocol, they should report back, but the leader decides to press forward to investigate. Isn't this the scout team's duty? The leader shakes his head but urges everyone to keep up. Soon, they discover the source of the blood, evidence of a clash between a few infected and a brown bear. Despite the fierce battle, traces at the scene suggest at least one infected escaped to an abandoned mall. The leader proposes returning to report, but Ellie dismisses the threat of 1 or 2 infected. Dina, fearless as ever, follows her lead. Seeing their defiance, the leader reluctantly grants them 5 minutes to scout. Ellie and Dina quietly slip into the mall through a window, immediately encountering a freshly dead infected. Hiss-like sounds from the hallway indicate more infected remain. Peeking out, they spot a menacing figure emitting a piercing screech. Using coordinated hand signals, Ellie picks up an empty bottle and creeps closer. She notices walls plastered with various labels, relics from before the outbreak. The infected screech interrupts her thoughts. Without hesitation, Ellie hurls the bottle, distracting the infected. She swiftly charges, stabbing it repeatedly with her dagger until it collapses, motionless. Before she can catch her breath, the wooden floor beneath her gives way, and she plummets to the level below. Fortunately, the fall isn't high, and she's unharmed, but climbing back up won't be easy. Dina urges her not to wander, and promises to find another way down. Standing still, Ellie curiously surveys her surroundings. The area resembles an abandoned processing plant, with rows of shelves dividing it into separate spaces. She picks up a magazine and flips through it, but a sudden sense of being watched sends a chill down her spine. Another infected lurks nearby. Raising her gun, she cautiously searches. This infected moves like a phantom, always evading her gaze at critical moments. Strangely, it suddenly reveals itself, roaring and charging. Ellie, confused, scans her surroundings. Unaware the infected has silently closed in. Sensing something, she spins and fires, but the infected lunges from the side, pinning her to the ground. A searing pain erupts from her abdomen. It's bitten her. Frantically, she draws her pistol and fires repeatedly, finally killing the infected. Her wound bleeds, but she quickly hides it. This secret must not be exposed. Dina arrives and they return to town, where they're scolded by the council. Luckily, Their reckless behavior caused no serious consequences. And since it's New Year's Eve, Ellie and Dina face no punishment. However, the sudden appearance of a large horde of infected raises alarm. Moreover, the infected they encountered seemed to use tactics to lure enemies, suggesting that after years, they've evolved some level of intelligence. Back home, Ellie doesn't seek out Joel but retreats to her room. She uses her dagger to carve over the bite mark. Though immune, she can't let anyone discover her secret. Joel, now looking like an old man weathered by time, is in his workshop fixing electronics. Dina bursts in. She's long sensed Ellie's discontent with Joel, who shakes his head, dismissing it as teenage rebellion, a phase any family might face. Dina playfully reveals the secret. Joel has been secretly seeing a therapist, aware of the growing rift between him and Ellie. Despite following the therapist's advice, their relationship has only worsened. When they cross paths in town, Ellie barely nods in acknowledgement, colder than she is with neighbors. The therapist sighs, unable to offer more advice, suspecting Joel is hiding something he insists on resolving alone. Honesty is crucial, she insists, but Joel, as if struck by pain, stands to leave. The therapist presses, what did he do to Ellie? Joel, on the verge of tears, remains silent. He saved her. Those who watched the first season might guess, years ago. Joel trekked thousands of miles with Ellie to the Firefly's base, hoping her immunity could yield a vaccine to save the world. But when he learned the procedure would kill her, he snapped, slaughtering everyone in the facility. Choosing Ellie over the world, he lied to her after she awoke, claiming the experiment failed and bandits attacked the base. Ellie, inclined to sacrifice herself for the world, has always doubted Joel's story. Swear everything you said is true, she demanded. I swear, he replied. Her endless suspicion and his gnawing guilt have driven them apart. Joel can't reveal the truth, or her immunity would be exposed, endangering her life. That night, Joel knocks on Ellie's door and enters her garage. His movements are awkward. After a long silence, he tries to make conversation. Still like the guitar? Ellie nods, saying she plays sometimes. Joel notices the guitar's broken strings. Without saying much, he takes it to fix. It's New Year's Eve, and the town's survivors gather to sing and dance. Ellie stands aloof until Dina pulls her onto the stage. Their dancing grows wild, drawing a kind old man's gentle reprimand. Before he can explain, Joel roughly pushes him down, worriedly checking on Ellie. She snaps, telling him to stay out of her business. Like a chastised child, Joel quietly leaves the party, wandering alone in the freezing night. Ellie's resentment toward Joel festers. Seeing him playing guitar at the gate, she walks past without a word, leaving him stunned. The poor man deeply misses their days wandering the apocalyptic world together 5 years ago. Despite countless dangers and the cruelty of humanity, they were like true family, leaning on each other for warmth in a cold world. As the town celebrates the new year, no one notices cordyceps tendrils creeping through a pipeline leading out of town. Even more unbelievably, an armed group watches the town from afar. Their leader, Abby, is a Firefly member. 5 years ago, Joel brutally killed everyone at the Firefly's base, but a few, including Abby, survived because they were away. Initially, they pursued Joel for revenge, but a man in a baseball cap suggested enlisting a powerful organization in Seattle to hunt him down. Kneeling before her parents' graves, Abby swore a vow, when they kill him, he'll die slowly. In episode 2, Ellie is woken by team leader Jess for patrol duty. Stepping outside, she notices the townsfolk's anxiety. Jess explains that the previous patrol found a pile of frozen infected behind the mountain, and suddenly, about 30 infected emerged from the snow. Clearly, they're using this tactic to survive the cold. It's unclear how many more lie hidden beneath the snow. In the town's school, Manager Toby stresses the crisis's severity to residents. They must be ready to face infected. If the alarm sounds, the elderly, weak, and children will hide in basements or shelters, while able-bodied men take up arms on rooftops or upper floors. Ellie thinks Tommy's overreacting, but with survival at stake, preparation is crucial. Tommy adds an extra patrol team. Ellie learns Joel has already left. Though she and Joel were a team, he went with Dina to let Ellie rest. Ellie feels a pang of sadness. Despite their strained relationship, Joel still cares for her. Jess wanders aimlessly through the snowy wilderness. Unaware, a figure watches from a distant peak. This is Abby, a surviving firefly seeking Joel for revenge. She and her group traveled far to Jackson. At night, they mistook the town's lights for a small camp, but at dawn, they realized its scale rivals a full town. Infiltrating with just a few people is nearly impossible. Eager for revenge, Abby considers ambushing a patrol. The man in the baseball cap, more rational, urges patience. He sends Abby to stand guard, hoping the biting cold will calm her. He doesn't expect the town to send patrols in such heavy snow. Recalling her plan, Abby decides to capture 2 patrollers to interrogate for Joel's whereabouts. While descending the slope, she slips, tumbling into a pit. Dazed, she looks up to see a hand extended toward her, but the pit holds dozens of corpses, including frozen infected. A bad feeling grips her, especially as the infected stir slowly. She scrambles to flee. Suddenly, countless infected erupt from the snow, chasing her. Terrified, Abby feels they could tear her apart any moment. Luckily, an abandoned mine lies ahead. She climbs a ladder over a wall, but infected appear from another direction, collapsing a barbed wire fence. Abby crawls through the snow to escape, but an infected pounces. At the critical moment, a gunshot fells it. Her rescuer is Joel, hiding nearby. He pulls her to a warehouse, but before Abby can relax, she hears Dina calling Joel's name. Shocked, she realizes her long-sought enemy stands before her. Now isn't the time for revenge, as infected could storm in any moment. Abby suggests heading to a cabin on the mountain, where the terrain is higher and her team waits. Joel, without much thought, escapes the mine before the infected break in. Seeing the growing horde behind, Abby shouts for Joel to hurry to the mountain. From another peak, more infected pour down. The 2 hordes merge but ignore Joel's group, charging toward Jackson. As the blizzard intensifies, Tommy, on the watchtower, anxiously scans the distance. He orders his men to recall all patrols immediately. Such weather could bring trouble. Though Joel's team receives the order, they're too far to return and take shelter in a building to escape the cold. It resembles an abandoned town. Jess, familiar with the area, leads them to a convenience store with dry firewood to stay warm. In Jackson, Tommy receives bad news. Joel and Dina's patrol has lost contact, likely beyond signal range. Knowing their route includes the abandoned mine, he contacts Ellie and Jess, urging vigilance and a swift check on Joel's safety. The townsfolk prepare defenses. An old man accidentally strikes a pipe, discovering it's filled with cordyceps, a chilling realization that the fungus never vanished. A guard on the watchtower senses something amiss and peers through binoculars, spotting a massive infected horde advancing. Panicked, he shouts, and the alarm blares. Tommy recognizes the imminent threat, directing residents to follow the plan. The vulnerable hide, while militia take positions. Climbing the watchtower, he glares at the approaching infected and roars for everyone to prepare for a life-or-death battle. Instead of firing immediately, they roll oil barrels outside the walls. On Tommy's signal, fuel spills across the ground. As infected swarm the walls, survivors hurl torches, igniting massive explosions. Only then do they attack fully, the fire wall easing their burden momentarily. Joel, seeing the flames from afar, prepares to return and help, but Abby insists the cabin is no longer safe. Meeting her team could aid the fight. After weighing options, Joel decides to escort her to the cabin first. The townsfolk battle fiercely, but Tommy soon notices something odd. the infected suddenly retreat, then charge a weaker defense point. Worse, a bloater. The final infected stage is among them. With a few charges, it tears a hole in the wooden fence, letting countless infected pour in. Tommy senses disaster, ordering rooftop defenders to provide cover while he wields a flamethrower at the only path the infected can take. But these infected are cunning, hiding in nearby houses and climbing rooftops to counterattack. Tommy spots the bloater nearing the house where his wife and child hide. Enraged, he fires relentlessly, drawing its attention. He planned to kite it through a narrow alley, but debris blocks his retreat. With no escape, he faces the bloater head-on. The flamethrower's fire scorches it, but the beast only weakens. As Tommy's fuel runs dry, despair sets in. Just as he braces for death, the bloater collapses, charred too long. The townsfolk fight hand-to-hand with the infected. Tommy's wife rushes to the kennels, releasing the town's dogs, a potent weapon stronger than untrained residents. Both sides plunge into a deadly struggle. Meanwhile, Joel's group reaches the mountain cabin. Abby's team welcomes them, but her expression darkens. She tells her group this is Joel. They restrain Dina and surround Joel with guns. Confused, Joel realizes Abby's group isn't mere bandits but trained soldiers. When Abby mentions the fireflies, he understands. He's met his enemies. Abby orders Dina sedated, showing some mercy by sparing the innocent. But Joel's fate is sealed. Years ago, he killed a doctor, Abby's father. Every night, she relives returning to the Firefly base, seeing her father's gruesome death. She even regrets entering his lab. Now, with her father's killer before her, Abby is eerily calm. She vowed at his grave to make Joel die slowly and painfully. Without hesitation, she swings a golf club at Joel. His screams blend with the howling blizzard. Ellie, searching, senses something wrong and follows tracks to the cabin. Seeing Joel and Dina's horses, she sneaks in with her gun. Screams echo from the inner room. Bursting in, she sees Joel collapsed. Before she can act, burly men overpower her. Joel, unrecognizable from Abby's beating, lies still, the golf club broken in half. Ellie shouts to rouse him, but he doesn't move. As Abby raises the broken club, Ellie screams, "No, please don't!" But she can only watch as it pierces Joel's neck. Ellie roars, "I'll kill you all!" Her defiance earns her a brutal beating. When Abby's group leaves, Ellie crawls to Joel, but the man who always protected her is gone. In Jackson, the residents finally defeat the infected, but at a steep cost. Ellie rides through the snow, dragging Joel's body, leaving a long trail. Episode 3 begins. The air in Jackson still reeks of gunpowder and charred infected. Joel's body is brought to the morgue. Tommy, finishing his duties, trudges heavily to see him. Gazing at Joel's cherished watch, his eyes well up. Who could have imagined that just a day after parting, the brothers would be separated forever? Ellie, too, can't accept this reality. Waking from a daze, she recalls Joel's murder. 3 months later, time works its magic. Jackson slowly regains its former prosperity. The walls are reinforced, and smiles return to Tommy's face. Today is Ellie's discharge day, her wounds healed long ago. But she stayed under psychiatric observation. Joel's death was her greatest blow, yet she seems unfazed. The therapist probes about past events. The New Year's Eve argument was their last talk. It stabs Ellie's heart, but she responds lightly. "It's over. I can only let go." Satisfied, the therapist clears her discharge. Stepping out, Ellie's calm facade crumbles. At Joel's home, flowers at the door show how many he helped. Mustering courage, she enters. Everything is as it was, yet feels alien. A red box on the bed, packed by Tommy, holds Joel's watch and pistol. Without hesitation, she straps it on. Seeing Joel's jacket in the closet, tears stream down. A knock interrupts, she wipes her eyes. It's Dina. bringing cookies to celebrate Ellie's discharge and apologize. While Ellie was hospitalized, Dina hid that she knew Joel's killer's identity, fearing Ellie would rip out her for and seek revenge. Ellie stays calm. Dina knows her best. Dina reveals the killer is Abby, from the Washington Liberation Front, WLF. She saw a wolf logo on someone's backpack, the WLF symbol. A man named Eugene, once a Firefly, mentioned the WLF's attempt to ally with groups, including the Seattle-based WLF. Their size seems manageable. This fuels Ellie's thirst for vengeance. She approaches Tommy, hoping he'll join her in Seattle, but with Jackson recovering, he can't leave as a council member. He suggests presenting her revenge plan to the council, if approved. Jackson could send an armed team to Seattle for Joel's justice. Patrol leader Jess, also a council member, might help, but he says the council needs residents' input first. Ellie must organize her thoughts and pitch convincingly tomorrow. At the council meeting, residents debate sending a team for Joel's revenge. Some worry it would weaken defenses, risking another infected attack. Others preach morality, arguing forgiveness over retribution. Ellie frowns. The cook interrupts, angrily insisting the killers targeted Joel, an act worse than infected invasions. They must fight back, or enemies will return. Ellie feels relief. When her turn comes, she reads her draft, framing her proposal not as revenge but as seeking justice. If they ignore the deaths of loved ones, Jackson's unity will erode. Her words resonate, but the final decision hinges on a vote. Ellie anxiously tracks each approving vote, but the proposal fails, 3-4-8 against. Tommy, worried, watches from the podium. After the meeting, he consults the therapist, fearing Ellie's reaction. She confirms Ellie will act. She claimed at the meeting her motive wasn't hatred, but that was a lie to sway others. The therapist calls Ellie a born deceiver, hiding a beast within, beyond help. Ellie packs, planning to go alone. A knock comes, it's Dina. Unable to hide her intent, Ellie opens the door. Dina's ready, having planned the route to Seattle, avoiding infested cities and crossing a national park. She's listed essentials like powerful weapons, boots, and tents, touched but worried about sourcing them. Ellie's reassured by Dina's sly smile. Meet at 3 a.m. at the East Gate. At the rendezvous, Dina arrives with a horse loaded with supplies courtesy of the kind cook, who also provided a high-powered sniper rifle. Had his leg not been injured, he'd have joined them. With the cook's help, Ellie and Dina ride off on their quest for vengeance. Before leaving, Ellie visits Joel's grave, silently vowing to kill Abby, just as Abby swore years ago at her father's grave to kill Joel. Their fates mirror each other, strangers turned enemies by hatred. Dina's meticulous planning avoids infected heavy cities, making the journey smooth. Her waterproof tent and cooking gear leave nothing wanting. Nearing Seattle, they're unaware of a bald man in a fish-patterned coat watching a quiet road. After confirming it's clear, he whistles. His group at the road's end sighs in relief. They're refugees fleeing local oppression, seeking a new home. Sudden urgent whistles shift their expressions. They scatter to hide. A girl cowers behind a mound, trembling, whispering about demons or wolves. Time passes, and Ellie and Dina reach the road, spotting the bald man's body, riddled with bullets. Shell casings litter the ground. Dina, panicked, emerges from the woods, vomiting. Ellie investigates, finding the refugee tribe slaughtered, including the girl. She suspects the WLF's hand. Their cruelty strengthens her resolve. Seattle's outskirts are close, marked by abandoned cars and relics. Following a trail, they're stunned by the cityscape. Skyscrapers entwined with giant vines, a corroded skeleton of a city. To Ellie, it holds a serene beauty. They head toward the city center. Unaware, a man, one of Abby's team that killed Joel, watches from a skyscraper, reporting all clear via radio. Armored vehicles and WLF warriors approach. Far from a small group but a force rivaling Jackson. Had Ellie and Dina known the WLF's strength, they wouldn't have rushed to Seattle. Even Jackson might struggle against them, risking greater trouble. In this episode, the heroes face not only hordes of infected but a relentless pursuit by the region's dominant force. Ellie and Dina reach Seattle, the WLF's turf. But supplies are scarce. Dina searches a pharmacy, finding only anti-inflammatory pills, though a small item on a shelf catches her eye. They reach a small suburban town, adorned with colorful flags, adding vibrancy to the post-apocalyptic scene. Yet decay and desolation dominate. An abandoned tank, remnants of the old Federal Disaster Response Agency, FEDRA, lies roadside. Opening it, Ellie makes a loud noise, but oddly, no infected appear. Through binoculars, Dina spots a WLF outpost and plans to head there, but Ellie stops her. The WLF's bold signage screams confidence, and daytime action risks detection. They enter a shop, a music store. Dina toys with a drum set, while Ellie eyes a wall of guitars. One, sealed in a case, is pristine. Like finding treasure. She caresses it. To Dina's amazement, Ellie plays a soulful tune, her voice tinged with sorrow. Joel taught her guitar, but their rift kept her from playing for years. She longs for Joel to appear, smiling, saying, "Well done." But that wish is now impossible. At the WLF base, Isaac, the baseball cap man, tortures a Seraphite prisoner for information. The WLF recently massacred a Seraphite branch, leaving this man alive. Isaac seeks their next target. The prisoner refuses to talk, grabbing a red-hot poker, his eyes cold with killing intent. Over a decade ago, when cordyceps first spread, Seattle's quarantine zone was under FEDRA control. As chaos grew, soldiers became arrogant, bullying survivors for sport. Hearing his team's smug boasts, Isaac stayed silent. When their path was blocked, WLF survivors, led by Hannah, ambushed. Isaac ordered his men to hold, then jumped out, tossing grenades into the military vehicle. That day, he joined the WLF. As FEDRA weakened, the WLF grew, but their brutal, bloody ways earned them the name Wolves. They're sworn enemies with the Seraphites, a cult skilled with bows and driven by unwavering faith. The tortured Seraphite, though broken, believes the WLF will fall. Impressed but frustrated, Isaac shoots him dead. Meanwhile, Ellie and Dina infiltrate the WLF outpost seen earlier. Strangely, no guards are at the entrance. For safety, they climb through a second-floor window. In the hallway, they find a WLF member's body, pierced with arrows. Shocked, they wonder if another force attacked. Continuing to the main hall, they gasp. 5 disemboweled bodies hang mid-air. Only deep hatred could drive such brutality. Ellie spots a familiar symbol from the Forest Massacre, confirming the Seraphites' bloody retaliation. Dina finds a radio on a corpse, guessing the WLF called for backup. Just then, the main door bursts open, WLF reinforcements. They hide behind crates, hearing the group curse and vow to slaughter the Seraphites. The WLF scatters to search. Ellie and Dina scramble to new hiding spots. Ellie slips into a room, planning to escape through a window, but it's stuck. A WLF member approaches. Hiding in a corner, Ellie ambushes, choking him. Another WLF arrives, but Dina shoots him dead. They break the window and climb out. Other WLF hear the noise, and Dina runs, but barbed wire blocks their path. They dodge through the maze, finding a side door with a gap just big enough for them to slip through. The WLF can only call for backup. Dina escapes the rubble, realizing they're in a subway tunnel. As they prepare to leave, a light flashes ahead, WLF pursuers. Ellie worries the narrow terrain will expose them. Unnoticed, a patch of cordyceps on the ground stirs under their flare's light. Dina hides behind rocks, holding her breath as enemies near. Suddenly, a swarm of infected surges out. Ellie, startled, pulls Dina onto a train roof. The WLF can't hold back the infected. With no choice, the girls jump into a train car filled with bones. Crawling through, they hear infected roars outside. As Ellie shuts the door, a clicker appears, nearly breaking in. She shoots frantically. Dina spots a vent on the roof and climbs up, pulling Ellie just as the infected pursue. They run across the train to the front, but infected spot them. And barbed wire blocks the way. They slip through just in time. At the station's revolving door, Ellie finds it jammed. Gritting her teeth, she pushes, but an infected attacks. Ellie shields Dina, taking a bite on her arm. Dina, enraged, shoots the infected. The horde breaches the wire. With a final heave, they open the door. Dina, seeing Ellie's wound, freezes, speechless. It's not the time to focus. They sprint out. Outside, rain pours. They barricade a hotel door. Turning, Ellie sees Dina aiming a gun at her, thinking she'll turn infected. Ellie, no longer hiding, explains her immunity. Skeptical, Dina neither agrees nor objects. Ellie offers to sit in a corner and wait. Time will prove her claim. Waking from a rain-soaked nap, Ellie sees Dina watching. Hours past midnight, no transformation has occurred. Checking her wound, it's unchanged. Dina, tearfully relieved, regrets nearly killing her dearest friend. After surviving, their emotions overflow. The next morning, they wake in warmth, sharing secrets. Ellie's tattoo hides an old infected bite. Dina reveals she's pregnant, confirmed by tests found in the pharmacy. The father, patrol leader Jess, means nothing to her. She loves Ellie. With a child coming, they could build a perfect family. A WLF radio crackles, Seraphites attacked. And someone mentions taking Wounded to Lake Hill. Ellie realizes it's likely the WLF's main base, where Abby probably is. Considering Dina's pregnancy, Ellie decides to go alone. But Dina insists on joining. Episode 4 ends. As mentioned, Ellie and Dina alone can't face the mighty WLF. They'll likely need help from the fierce Seraphites and aggressive infected to destroy the WLF. This episode reveals a key detail. During the Jackson attack, many wondered why the infected ignored Joel's group to target the town miles away. Cordyceps patches act as the infected's eyes and ears, communicating through a special method. The episode closely examines Cordyceps, perhaps foreshadowing more infected hordes. This covers the first 4 episodes of The Last of Us. Follow Cinemax to catch the latest episodes. Goodbye. And see you in the next videos.